Schaffner with Alternative Nation. We're here with Shaun Morgan from Seether.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so Poison for Paris, your new album, comes out in a little less than 2 weeks.
Yep.
What can you tell us is going to be different or similar about this album compared to your recent ones?
I think the main thing is we went back to just being like a riff band. Sorry, let me do it. And we sort of like, I rediscovered how much I like to play music, because for the longest time I was kind of thinking about doing something completely different for a little while and taking a break, but as I was doing the writing part of it, I sort of found that I really was loving music again, you know what I mean? And that felt really good. So this album to me is kind of a return to what it was like being a kid in the garage, you know, and there's like 4 of you getting hammered on a 6-pack because we were just little kids. So, and it's like, you know, it's just fun to be excited about music again, because like I said, for a little while I lost my passion, I think. And I produced the album, so there was a lot less outside influence, which is kind of cool. And we mixed it away to make it sound a little heavier than stuff we've done before, just because I think rock music needs a bit of a kick in the teeth, you know, and to sort of, you get bands like Highly Suspect and Thrice's new albums are great, like departures from what's currently quite popular. And what's popular is a lot of stuff that sounds very similar, right?
Shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we just wanted to sort of stand sort of on our own in a lot of ways, and yeah, I mean the guitar tones are great. I think it's sort of just it represents us, who we are as a band. It's quite noisy in places. You know, we didn't clean out all the feedback and stuff. It was trying to be as real and as rough as possible, but by the same token, making sure the songs were good. You know, so that's kind of where we went with it. And I mean, I think people will dig it. I don't know. I like it. So.
Mistakes are what makes rock and roll what it is.
Well,
So.
absolutely. We're not a bunch of robots writing music, you know what I mean? And a lot of these producers want you to be exactly perfect the whole way through, and it's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but it completely sucks the soul out of what you're trying to do, you know? So, I mean, that's the whole point, is to not sound like a bunch of machines. And yeah, I think we achieved that. I think it's good.
Yeah, I understand you self-produce this album.
Yeah.
So what makes self-producing an album, what makes it different about the experience of putting the album out?
Well, it's way more nerve-wracking because I'm the one that's responsible for the way it sounds. But I think it's the whole point of it is I wanted to get in there and see if I could do it myself, because I've learned from like Brendan O'Brien and Howard Benson and a couple of other producers, Bob Marlett and the first Jay Baumgartner, and we've learned from them what we do and don't like about the producing side of it. And I watched all these guys and their approaches, and I took what I liked and threw away what I didn't. And I think it was an experiment to see if I could do it, and I think it went pretty well. So we'll see. I mean, it's nice to be the one that's in charge of everything, but also by the same token, it's a little nerve-wracking. Like now it's all on my shoulders, so you know, I hope it doesn't go badly.
Carry all the weight.
Exactly.
So the music video for Let You Down is very, very dark. What is the significance behind this video, if you don't mind sharing it?
There's no real significance, honestly. What we wanted to do was we just wanted to do something that was kind of like a horror movie. You know, I love horror movies. I know that Nathan, the guy that directs our videos, he's a big horror fan. So if you give him that direction to go in, he just goes crazy, man. So I sent him a couple of reference shots from the internet that I'd found, and he just ran with it and came up with this crazy concept. I mean, will I ever get back in a coffin again? Probably not. But it was fun. It was like everyone. It's so crazy. Everyone who was dressed and looked really creepy was super nice people. So it's like it's that weird oxymoron. You stand there and you're terrified, but you're also like intrigued, because they're all really sweet people. So it was a fun video. There's no real meaning behind it. I know people love to try and find some sort of meaning here and there. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to do something that was visually compelling. You know, like. Sort of push the limits a little bit, make it a little creepy, make you sort of get a little bit freaked out. That's the whole point, you know. Yeah. And that was it. It was just a fun video to make. Yeah.
Very cool. This year is you guys' 5th Rise Above Fest. What is the story behind how you guys started this festival?
Well, my brother committed suicide 10 years ago in August, and it took me a long time to come out of the depression of that, and I was miserable for a long time. So eventually I was like, well, we have to do something about. You have to turn a tragedy into something positive, or at least make it like some sort of awareness thing. So we started the festival, and it was the first year was kind of a small one, which we threw together in a month, and then the next 2, 3, 4, and I guess now 5. It's gone from a one-day festival to now a 2-day festival this year, which is really exciting. And we've had great headliners all along. We had Avenged Sevenfold, we had Godsmack, we've had I think we had.
I I saw Slash went one year, and I was very excited about that.
And then this year we got headliners of Shinedown and Korn's on the next night. And, so it's growing, and I mean it's just now 2 days, which is awesome. And I think it's all about suicide awareness, and it's kind of just to raise money and to create a sort of dialogue about it and sort of make sure that people understand it's an epidemic right now, not only amongst veterans but amongst teens and children even as young as 8 and 9. So it's kind of horrific that's the world we live in, and people kind of don't like to talk about ugly things. Everybody wants to talk about happy stuff and sort of carry on, pretend that there's nothing going on behind the scenes, but it's a lot of people being hurt in a lot of ways by this, and I think that we need to just look at it and I mean I don't know what we can do about it, but certainly I feel like if you make it clear that there's a discussion that needs to be had, maybe people will sort of start losing the stigma for it and start talking about it more. I mean that's what we can hope for, right? Anyway, so we hope to take the festival maybe one day on the road and like play in other major cities. Because right now it's up in Bangor, Maine, which is cool. And but it's like the furthest place I think northeast you
can go all the way. It's 9 hours from where I live at home, so yeah.
But it's so if we can move it to a more central place, I think we could grow it exponentially. So that's the goal. We'll see what happens. I mean I don't know if that's realistic right now or what the case may be, but I think one day we'll definitely get to that point. And I mean it's all for a good cause, People come out and we take care of a lot of veterans. We fly them out. We show them a good time. We feed them. We get them drunk. We take them gambling, and it's a good time, So and we try to give back to them, and we always have like a meet. We always meet the night before. We meet a bunch of people that have been identified as people that may need a little bit of a boost in their lives. You know what I mean? We hang around and shoot the shit for about an hour or so, and then we go home. But yeah, that's the whole point of it, is just to raise awareness.
Do you think that all of these rock festivals, the circuit of rock festivals that's going on across the country that you guys are a part of, do you think that that's going to help bring rock and roll back into the mainstream, or do you think it's never really going to be how it once was?
I think if you stop writing shitty music, it will bring it back into the mainstream. I don't know. I think that the era of that short return of like the 80s metal kind of way of thinking with the. How many songs can you listen to about strip clubs and doing blow, right? We've all lived it, but it doesn't mean you have to write about it every single time. And I think as soon as music gets substance and there's an honesty in the lyrics and all that kind of stuff, will be fine. It's like rock music doesn't have to be. It's not as acerbic, and it doesn't have to be so dumbed down. You know what I mean? It can go back to a place where there's an intelligence behind it, and there's like a real sensitivity behind it. And I think with bands like Highly Suspect and Thrice, their last 2 albums that have come out are like my favorite new things that have happened. So, and that's sort of where I hope the direction of rock starts going is at least to maintain good songwriting, great lyrics, and melodies. Instead of it always having to be thrashy and some clicky drum sound that everyone's using. So, I mean, and that's not to say, it makes me sound like a total dick, but I mean, there's a lot of great bands. There's a lot of samey kind of sounding bands, and if you have more variation, that's when I think you can grow a genre. You can't expect people to like a genre if it sounds the same every song, right? So, it just needs to diversify a little bit, and I think it'll be good.
That's one thing I noticed about Seether is the songs are very realist. It's not necessarily depressing, but it's a realistic view of everything that's going on in the world. The more you're educated about what's going on around you, the more pissed off you're going to be.
Unfortunately, when you do pay attention, there's a lot of things to be angry about. So, it's a lot of things happening in the world socially, that like the whole social media dominance and how it's telling children and kids that to be famous is the only important thing, and take pictures of your tits and ass and you'll get millions of followers and you'll make money. It's like, man, is that really what I want for my kid?
Kylie Jenner, you subbing her?
Looking at you. But that whole thing, man, and like the glorification of teenage girls being pregnant, the glorification of meatheads on The Bachelorette, stuff like all of that, man. It's like, you got these guys that are, again, they come out and they're all like testosterone out and douchebaggy, and yet they didn't become famous, and it's because of the TV, So, I mean, I think just turn the TV off, or, I don't know, watch cartoons, man. It's the way to do it, really.
So I have a little bit of a fun question for you. If you were ever approached about it, or if you ever had the time, Stone Temple Pilots have been looking for a singer for over a year now. Would you ever consider filling in the shoes of Scott Weiland for them?
I would love to. I mean, it's the kind of thing where that's such a big responsibility, though. I think that they want somebody who's like a full-time guy. I mean, that would be the kind of thing where you step into that role. It'd be like a life, like a dream come true kind of thing. But by the same token, I got my own thing going on, which keeps me kind of busy. But yeah, I mean, if they ever gave me a call, I would absolutely at least try out. I love Stone Temple Pilots, and there was another one of the bands that really influenced me growing up. So yeah, but that's never going to happen.
Tell me about some of your other influences.
I liked everyone when I was growing up. Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Rage Against the Machine, Pantera. That's the stuff that really hit when I was a kid. And it's just as long as it's music that's honest and it's got integrity and it's got great melodies. I mean, I love Tool. I love the Deftones. Those are like the new Korn album. I think is amazing. Not so much influence, just the stuff that I'm listening to right now. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, influences when I was a kid was like obviously what made me pick up a guitar was Nirvana. I was like, yeah, that sounds really cross, and my parents hate it, so I got to do the same thing.
Of course, rebellion,
exactly.
angst, everything.
We all started playing to piss our parents off. I think. Well, certainly I did. And yeah, those would be the ones that really got me into playing music and learning to play guitar and stuff.
What do you think about Pearl Jam being inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh, it's about time. I mean, I think that's a great band, and they've been consistently a great band, and they tour, they're so good to their fans, and they play epically long sets. I don't know how they do that, but yeah, I mean, it's a great band that really deserves the recognition, and so I'm stoked. I think it's awesome.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much, Shaun. It was nice speaking with you.
You too. Thanks, son.